What if I told you that greatness as an idea or a concept is deceiving? That it may in fact hurt more people than it helps? Seems counterintuitive, right? Well, as I continue to discover in life, one's pursuit of something can and often does produce a result that's antithetical to that which we've been chasing, right? In other words, in attempting to lift ourselves up, we keep ourselves down. In hoping to move ourselves forward, we push ourselves back, not because we don't want to succeed, but because I don't think we really understand what success means. Do you know how many times in my life I've written a story or a speech or a script and I've ended up burying it on a hard drive or my laptop because it didn't seem good enough? Or I've stopped and put the pen down and moved on because what I'm working on won't be the greatest story ever written. So why waste the time? I'd come back again later. Maybe next time I'll be prepared to create something earth-shattering. And what I miss, what we don't realize is that you can't just sit down and write the greatest story ever written. Do we even ask ourselves what greatness is? Certainly not something you catch like a fish. I think it's something you raise like a child. It requires of you sitting down and writing, and some good, some bad, maybe everything in between, because that's how a craft materializes. It requires that you share before you're ready, because that's how you learn to be vulnerable, to embrace criticism, not to hide. Or as Jordan Peterson says, speak, right? If you have something to say and you don't say it, you are lying. It requires that you learn what works and what doesn't. You learn to say no to distraction. You learn to embody who you want to be and abandon the parts of you that no longer serve you. You don't sit down and write the best song ever to be heard or the best story ever to be read. You don't start the best business the world's ever seen. You don't jump into the perfect life or the best version of yourself. No, I don't think human beings are capable of such things. Because greatness is not an acquisition, it is an evolution. It is the experience that life provides, transformed into characters or audio frequencies or services that solve the world's problems. I've recently read that if the final destination were actually what we sought out, we wouldn't climb mountains. No, we'd wait in line to get dropped off at the top by helicopter. But that's not what we do. Because the top isn't about high altitude, it's about resolve and endurance and courage and curiosity and self-belief all coming together to differentiate what you are now from what you used to be. That's what the top is. And as far as I'm concerned, that mysterious greatness is no different. Wanting it now is impossible simply because there is no top without the climb. Shortcuts, just like helicopters, don't provide the substance we sometimes think and even hope it would. So no, you don't write the perfect song, there is no such thing. Just an immersion into music and a commitment to being its architect. And no, you don't write the perfect story, there is no such thing. Just a desire to become an ambassador of the language, to have a love for reminding the world of that which they lose amidst their day-to-day. And no, there is no perfect business. There is no such thing. Just the belief that you can be the one to offer the world something new. You can relieve a pain or provide a solution, and you'll ride that wave. And no, there is no snapping your fingers and achieving a perfect life. There is no such thing. Just a promise to yourself to start cherishing your minutes. Because when you do, boy, do they look different. And see, before where we'd stop in our tracks because perfect seemed like such an insane proposition, well, now we know that perfect, that greatness is not the goal because it is not an entity. It's an accumulation of decisions. Re-signing a contract to commit to something bigger, immersing yourself in a journey. Without that single page, however good, you get nothing. Because you don't just lose the 500 words, you lose what they would become. And that is, in fact, the only way to lose anything. These words at my fingertips will find their way into existence. They'll transform from written to audio. They'll make their way into your ears and hopefully help you see the path laid out before you a little differently. Maybe you'll find inspiration, gather some courage. Maybe you'll be reminded that life isn't that serious, that it's a journey, a game, a long-term expedition. That is my hope. Not to be perfect because it can't be, nor do I want it to be. But to move the world forward just a little bit, that is enough. To be merely a contribution, a page in the greatest story ever written.